Welcome to DorkChat Radio, starring Kilroy Duncan and Bryant Crawley. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to DorkChat Radio. The date for today is 4/18/2017. That'll give you an idea as to how long it's been since we've been doing this thing. That's totally my fault. I'm to blame. I am Kilroy Duncan, and I am joined today, as always, by the wonderful, the fantastic host who hates everything ever in the world, Mr. Bryant Crawley.
Well, I like Roman Reigns, so...
That's true. You do like Roman Reigns, which I believe means that you hate everything else.
Yes, I do. I hate everything. I hate everything. I hate everything. There you go. Yep. I had somewhere where I was going with it, but I thought that's too much of a hot take, so I'm not going to go with it.
You're not gonna go there, yeah. It's
okay.
I mean, that's a pretty hot take.
You know what? Actually, I'll go with it. I don't like Connor too much. There you go. Said it. There we
wow.
Go.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah.
All right. Well,
that's right. That's right.
Hot take.
The Connor that WWE fantasized and built the Warrior Award around and all that. Yeah, not a fan.
You know what's really sad?
I'm just kidding. I don't want to go to hell.
You know what's really sad?
I'm just kidding.
You said that, and the first thing I thought was the guy from The Ascension.
Yeah, not that Connor. Not that. The little
he can
kid
die in a fire, right?
The little kid has more pull than that Connor in WWE.
Yeah, I mean,
he's dead.
Yeah.
And he's dead. He's dead. I just want to let you know that he's dead.
Jesus Christ.
He's not coming back. He's dead.
Welcome to DorkChat Radio, folks.
Hold on. Again, people. I'm just kidding. These are jokes. Don't come looking for me. These are jokes. I don't need you pulling up on me and hitting me with something and shooting me. No, these are jokes. Okay?
Oh, God, no.
Love Connor,
we don't want anybody
love
to
his
shoot
family.
you. We just think maybe a chair shot to the back or maybe a Pillmanizing or something.
You know what? Let me scratch this. You know what? I love Connor. I love the family. I hate that little dog. I hate that little dog that he has. That he had. There you go. All right, continue.
That was the problem all along.
That was it?
It was the dog. Well, I'm glad I know this now. Because I thought that we all just hated John Cena for using the Cancer Kid to get more over as a babyface. But
well, no.
Apparently it was the kid's dog the whole time.
We've established as recently that the way to get ahead in the world of wrestling is you use the kid as a prop.
Right.
So, we got John Cena Senior, Cancer Kid.
Right.
We have Connor, and then we have Matt Hardy's kid. So there we go. All full circle. Full circle. You're welcome, people.
Yep. You are very welcome for that wonderful dissertation as to how to get over in the WWE. If you are a current WWE employee and you are listening to this podcast, which I highly, highly doubt, just remember, get a little kid involved. You're over immediately and no one can complain about you.
Unless you're Roman Reigns, then you'll just get the kid super, super major heat.
Oh, yeah, no, that kid would have so much heat. That would be the biggest heel kid since... God, what's the best bully I can think of at the moment from 80s movies? I like...
You know what, honestly...
jackasses from the Goonies, maybe? I don't know.
You know what, honestly, I would think he'd have the most heel heat for a kid since Bray Wyatt, you got the whole world in my hands kid. Remember that on Raw?
Yeah, that kid. I remember him.
That kid had a lot of heat.
That kid had a lot of heat. Well, now that we've talked about how to get heat on kids, I think we're going to move on. All right, so we're going to move on to WrestleMania. And I know we're a little late on the gun. You can all suck my dick. We're going to move on to WrestleMania, and we're going to talk about what happened on the show. Obviously, the show was too goddamn long. Everybody says this. This is not a shock or surprise to anyone. I have read probably 30 articles about how long WrestleMania was and how it was too long and everybody's idea as to how to shorten it. I don't know the answer to this. All I know is it was a chore to get through some of that show. But at the same time, as a party atmosphere, it can work. Like, we only had a couple of people over. We had my brother-in-law and his girlfriend came over, and it was just our family, and we were just kind of real relaxed, real chill, There was a lot of talking. We weren't paying attention to everything that was happening. And they didn't show up until the main show started. So they didn't get a full 7-hour experience. They got, a 5-hour experience or so. So it wasn't terribly much longer than, say, a Super Bowl. But it was still too damn long. By the time The Undertaker was done, everybody wanted to go home and go to bed. So, just real quick, because I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, because everybody spent a lot of time on how much time WrestleMania is. What are your thoughts, or do you have anything new to add to that conversation?
I mean, the simple fact is that only thing I would say is just shorten the pre-show to maybe 1 hour, and then there you go. Like that's pretty much it. Just the pre-show was 2 hours, and it really didn't need to be 2 hours. Could have been 1 hour. Then you could have had, or either shorten the pre-show or start the pre-show earlier, so you have 3 to 5 pre-show, and then 5 to whatever is the actual card. The end. That's all. That's it.
I think the time may have come to go ahead and split WrestleMania into 2 days.
No.
I just as a spitball as to how to get it done. Like, if you've got 2 good drawing main events, like they had the Brock Lesnar Goldberg match was a main event, and the Roman Reigns versus Undertaker match was a main event that they could draw off of. Instead of doing a 100,000 seat arena, you do a 50,000 seat arena, and you split the show over 2 days, and one of those 2 matches main events one night or the other. And
can I tell the problem, or do you want to continue?
The show's too damn long, and the only thing I can think to do is to split it into 2, or to just not have all of the people on the show, which obviously Vince is determined to have everybody on the damn show. And outside of doing a full Royal Rumble with 30 guys, I don't know what else to do at this point.
I mean, here's the problem, because you were talking about splitting up. And first and foremost, this is, and I'm going to keep saying this, and I don't know if anyone wants to believe me or what, but this is by far the biggest, I would say the biggest and best roster WWE's ever created. Okay?
I agree.
So you're going to get as many people as you want on the card. Problem is in regards to splitting up the show. You're going to then turn it into a WrestleMania, what was it, 2 or 3? Which one did they did in multiple cities?
2.
Or whatever. 2. Okay. Ergo, that's one problem. Okay. Which one is going to be the main event show? Okay. Because one is going to be the understudy and one's going to be the main event. But the problem that you're getting into, though, is because it's WrestleMania weekend, you have not only you're splitting up WrestleMania, so Saturday and Sunday night or whatever. Then you have Hall of Fame, NXT. You have WrestleMania Access, where they do have wrestling. Then you'd have Raw and SmackDown. WrestleMania in itself weekend is already too much. You splitting it in 2 halves, I guarantee you're going to have a problem Monday night in regards on live television when people are just exhausted. Like, literally, the hottest night on Raw is usually the night after WrestleMania. This year we didn't have that. Why? Because people were literally exhausted. Okay? The only thing I can think of is either you cut one of the pre-show hours out, or you move it. They seem to want to have this, we're going to have it as a Super Bowl celebration in regards to the exact same amount of time that the Super Bowl is, pre-show to full show. It's the same time equivalent. But the point is, Super Bowl, their pre-show starts earlier. It's not all day, but it does start earlier. If they want to continue that, they need to start earlier. They need to make sure WrestleMania ends at 10:30. 10:30. That's when it needs to end. What time does the Super Bowl end? Around 10:30. It's over. You can't have it going over past 11:15. Like, it literally was just like literally, like, by the time WrestleMania, the Roman Reigns Undertaker match happened, you're just like, can this please just end? I don't care what happens. I don't care if he's retiring. Just end this. Just end all of this. So, I don't know. That's my idea. Cut down the pre-show or move it. The end.
Okay.
It I don't think the splitting of the shows, because then you're going to have the problem of it's A versus B, and then you're going to get people drowned out in regards to wrestling, because that's a lot of wrestling, man. And I'm not even there, and that's a lot of wrestling. There's a lot of wrestling for me sitting on my couch.
See, I'm of the school that believes there's never too much wrestling in general. There can be too much wrestling in one day. And I think that for the live audience specifically, that may have been too much wrestling. And we're not getting into the match times themselves. Like, the match times were a little wonky. Like, Baron Corbin and Dean Ambrose went of almost 11 minutes. And
right.
I can't remember any of it. All I remember is that Dean Ambrose won the match. It was a completely forgettable match. 10 minutes, 11 minutes is not enough to put on a big, memorable match, especially in the pre-show. It's not enough to put on a big, memorable match. So cut it. Cut it down to 7 minutes and just be done with it. And it doesn't sound like a lot. 4 minutes doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. It is because you're going to be doing this across the board. Neville and Austin Aries had almost 16 minutes to open the pre-show. And while I loved it, it was the first match I saw. So, of course, I'm amped. And I think they could have done the same match in 9 minutes and not disappointed anybody.
Here's the thought process in this, because I was thinking about this. I think the reason why stuff was so wonky and out of place, ergo the 6 women's match on the main card right before the main event, and how that was like literally like 3 minutes, and how Austin Aries and Neville was given 16 or whatever, because a lot of stuff was moved at the last minute. I think that as much as I wanted that women's match on the main card, it probably would have been better on the pre-show, because what they had planned out, and they would have allotted time. You can't have a 6-person match, 6-person match, end in 3 minutes. You cannot do that.
It was a little over 5 minutes. But I think that they switched Dean Ambrose and Baron Corbin for it, and Dean Ambrose and Baron Corbin went almost 11 minutes. And I don't see where that would have done any better on the main card than the women's match.
Because, well, the Austin Aries match went over. That wasn't 13 minutes.
It was 15 minutes and 40 seconds. I'm looking at it right now.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
15:40 for Neville versus Austin Aries. 14:07 for the Battle Royal that came after it. The Battle Royal was shorter than the opening Cruiserweight title match.
The match that went the longest was Triple H versus Seth Rollins. I know that. That was the longest one. Here's the thing, like, I think a lot of it did get adjusted because they were doing switching. Like, the Dean Ambrose Corbin match was moved. The women's match was moved off the pre-show. The Reigns match was then moved to the main card. I think the Brock versus Goldberg match, that was fine where it was at. I think that was the exactly amount of time, but I think everything else was like playing by ear, and I think he got a little bit weird because of the times. I literally do. I as much as I love Austin Aries. I don't think Austin Aries and Neville should have took that long. I think, like you said, 9 minutes would have been fine. I think Baron Corbin and Dean Ambrose could have done theirs. It wasn't anything to write home about. The Battle Royale could have been a little bit longer. If you just start
Rollins
going
and
through
Triple H did not need to go almost 26 minutes.
It should have been shorter.
It should have been Seth Rollins showing up, beating the living piss out of Triple H for about 3 minutes. Triple H hitting the knee, working the knee for maybe 4 or 5 minutes. Rollins making a comeback. They do the big spot with Stephanie. Go home. 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Right.
And most of it should be Triple H selling his ass off for Seth Rollins. Triple H is not a regular wrestler. That's just not his job anymore. He wrestles once a year. He's doing the Undertaker deal. He's wrestling once a year, maybe a few more times, but really once a year. And his job is to put over somebody else when he does. So if he's going to get this chance to wrestle once a year and put over somebody, he needs to fucking put him over. And doing 26 minutes with Seth Rollins doesn't put anybody over. It just is a big stroke to Triple H's ego. The fact that Triple H, and don't get me wrong, I love Triple H, but the fact that he, a guy that has had maybe 4 matches in the last 2 years, he has the longest match on WrestleMania is ridiculous. Just ridiculous. I don't have any other words for it. Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens had a year of a feud, like a year, that they built this feud up, and their match went 16-20. Done. Bell to bell, 16-20.
Well, I mean, I'll be frank with you. This is also still the same company that had Undertaker in the main event. So
I get it. I get the Undertaker in the main event. I do. I don't agree with it, but I get it. I get the Undertaker wanting to go out in his final match, or not even really the Undertaker. I don't think it was the Undertaker's call. I think it's Vince. Vince was like, nope, if Taker's going out on his back and this is the last shot, he's the last guy on the show. The last image of our show needs to be the Undertaker.
I get that. I mean, but here's just my whole 2 thoughts. And I was fine with what they did. I was fine with how they did it. Well, not really how they did it, but just the overall outcome. First and foremost, I thought Reigns should have beat Undertaker. That's no question. I would have had it, and I know we talked about it. I would have had Reigns squashed Undertaker in like 5 seconds. Like the end of Undertaker. And if that's how he goes out, that's how you go out. Like you would turn Roman Reigns into a monster. Right. Because the next night you pretty much had him looking like a chump next to Braun Strowman. But we'll get into that in a later bit. But when you saw the Undertaker in the ring, and I saw it immediately, and I sent you a message when you saw him having trouble getting Braun over the top rope, throwing Braun over the top rope on Raw 2 weeks before the show, you were like, okay, there's a problem. And like he literally turning around and wheezing like he is an old man wheezing. Like it's wheezy. It's wheezy from the Jeffersons. That bad. And it's on live TV. And it's literally like, you're just like, okay, and that was 2 weeks before the show. Like you knew it was something. When you have him literally having to have double hip surgery after the Mania, that's a problem. When he literally cannot walk that 80 yards of a ramp during Mania, these are all things that were planned out and scheduled. Okay, this is a thought process. Like at some point, I would have made an audible like, no, you can't go. And I would have done. This is what I would have done. I would have saved Undertaker for WrestleMania 34. Okay, that would have been his life. I would have saved it for 34. I would have had Braun taking Undertaker out, and your main event would be Braun versus Roman Reigns. And I don't care if you do it again. You have to do what you got to do. That's the only thing that makes sense, because he literally started halfway on the ramp and into the ring. He could not really do much in the ring. Like, as great as Undertaker is, and I give him all the credit in the world, that man was broken. He was broken Undertaker. Okay, taking out a page out of Matt Hardy. He was.
I would be so delighted if. I would be so delighted if he joined Matt Hardy in a broken gimmick as like just like a guru. I know it will never happen because he's done. You're not going to see the Undertaker ever again unless if it's the Hall of Fame ceremony. But it would just be so funny. Like, just the Undertaker is broken. Like, that would be great. I really hope that they bring Kane back and Kane is broken. Like, that would be... I would love that so hard.
Well, if they bring Kane back, is he going to be the mayor? Like, can we say mayor? Like, are we going to call him a Mayor Kane? Mayor Dr.
Dr. Kane.
Like, I mean, what do we call him? Like, that's the thing. Like, because he hasn't officially retired yet.
Well, like, part of me wants him to just become the awkward dad character. Like, because they were kind of going towards that with Corporate Kane, where he was just kind of this awkward dad joke guy. And I kind of want him to keep doing it, because he was really brilliant in the role when they gave him something to do.
Right.
It was just that most of the time they didn't give him anything to do, and so it was just kind of wishy-washy. But the guy can knock out whatever you give him. He's shown that over and over and over again. So I would have him be this awkward, grumpy dad who shows up and beats people up occasionally, but for the most part, he's more concerned with golfing or his stock portfolio or what. And he's not terribly good at any of the other things. The thing he's good at is wrestling, but he doesn't want to do it anymore. But at the same time, he hates it when it gets beaten, so he just loses his mind and destroys people.
I just literally want him to come back if he wins the election as the mayor, because he hasn't officially retired yet, and I really want that to say Mayor Kane on the screen.
Kane, and just Mayor be Kane. Grumpy and handing people's keys to the city.
You don't have to do anything. I really want him to see hand out keys to the city in that Kane mask. I really want to see this stuff happen. Like, he is not officially retired yet. This is not a Jesse Ventura situation. He is still wrestling. I need to see this happen. Vince,
make it happen.
If he wins, we need this to happen.
We do need it.
Pronto.
All right, we're gonna move on to the actual show, because we've talked about the pre-show and then we just kind of jumped around real fast. AJ Styles and Shane McMahon.
Loved it.
It was there. They did all of the spots that I expected them to do. They did nothing terribly interesting. AJ went over, which was the right move, but I mean, everybody knew that. And it was there. It didn't do anything for me. And I tried going into the match with an open mind. You could talk to the people that were there with me live. I talked about how much I was not looking forward to the match, but at the same time, I wanted an open mind. And as the show started, I said audibly, you know what? They might surprise me. They might pull this off, because Shane McMahon, in a big match situation, he might be able to pull this off, and I believe in AJ Styles' ability to carry anybody to a decent match. So this might work, and I got kind of excited for it. And then the match started, and about 7 minutes in, I was like, you know what? Shane McMahon is looking like he's holding up with AJ Styles and kayfabe. You know, he's throwing fists, and AJ's selling for him. But I don't believe anything that's happening. I'm not invested in anything that's happening.
I'll say this. I was more invested in AJ versus Shane than I was AJ versus Chris Jericho. Make of it how you want. You go. There you go.
I'm with you on that.
You go.
I had higher expectations for AJ and Chris Jericho because of their talent in the ring. But I was less invested in that match than I was their Shane match.
Honestly, I had the same expectations. It's WrestleMania. You bring your A game. You act like Shane doesn't bring his A game on big matches.
No, I'm acting like Chris Jericho is a much better wrestler than Shane McMahon, which he is.
Okay, but again, I'm bringing up the fact that big matches, Shane shows up.
And I'm bringing up the fact that Shane McMahon is not as good a wrestler as Chris Jericho. Why is that even a question?
Because I'm saying a match. I'm saying an actual. I'm not saying a wrestling match. I didn't say that. I said a match. Okay, a match. When the lights come on in Shane's head, ding ding ding, it's time to go. It's time to put butts in seats. It's time to entertain people. And as much as I love Jericho, I would say Shane can hold his own in that fact. And if we look at the last 2 years between Chris Jericho and AJ and Shane, hello. That's all I'm going to say. Continue.
Shane's match last year with The Undertaker was dog shit.
And that man...
It was dog shit with one spot that we all saw coming. And then his match with AJ was decent with the coast to coast, which I'll give him credit for. His coast to coast this time, way better than the last time he tried it. Mm-hmm. So we've got that. Chris Jericho had a decent match against AJ Styles last year, and he had a good match against Kevin Owens this year. Good and decent are better than dog shit and decent with a big spot. I'm still trying to figure out your logic here.
Okay, well, my logic is, so you put on a good match with Undertaker right now.
A decent match with it. No.
He put on a
dog shit match with The Undertaker and had a big spot in it. He put on a decent match with AJ Styles.
Now, you are just a hateful person in regards to Shady. You have no love in your heart. Continue. That's all. Because you're acknowledging that the Undertaker. You're not acknowledging the Undertaker is pretty much past his prime and pretty much is just. Like
Roman Reigns had a decent match with The Undertaker.
Not really.
It just had one big botch.
Not really.
It was
he really
fine.
Dude,
we're not
he
there
did.
yet. We're not there yet.
He didn't.
Let's
He
get
didn't.
through the show. Let's get through the show before we get there.
And I'm a Roman Reigns fan, and I can tell you he didn't. Because that match, again, the man could barely walk. I'm going to keep throwing that out there.
Have you gone back and watched the show since?
Yes.
You have. So have I.
Yes.
I went back and watched the match since. I was able to fast forward through some of the more boring older matches. But that Reigns Undertaker match, I watched the whole match again.
Wait. Here's the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying. And this is a problem that I'm having with when I keep bringing this up, because I don't want to keep talking about backstage stuff. Supposedly, Undertaker last year had hip surgery. He needed double hip surgery this year, okay? He had that after WrestleMania last year. He had it after WrestleMania this year, okay? Man, as much of a fan as I am of Undertaker and as much as he's done in this industry, the man is 54 years old, okay? He has to have double hip surgery. What exactly are we expecting him to do in the ring? Like, that's the thing that you can go back and watch, and you can literally see what? Like, that's your main event. So, no, I'm not going to say it was a great match. It was a match. The only thing you're going to remember from the match is The Undertaker retired. That's it. Just like the thing with Shane. The only thing you're going to remember with Shane is that he jumped off something. The whole middle thing, and I'm not trying to blame Undertaker for this. I'm going to say that. But at the same time, it's so much he was limited of what he could do. If you have to have hip surgery, what exactly are you going to be doing in the ring? And I give him guts for going out there and doing that and trying to do that. But there weren't going to be great matches. They weren't. That's all I'm going to say. Continue.
All right, we're going to move on to the rest of the show. We'll come back to Roman Reigns and The Undertaker in a minute. AJ versus Shane McMahon, for me, it was there. It did it served its purpose, which was AJ goes over. I don't think it needed to be 20 minutes, but they brought everything but the kitchen sink in there and threw everything into the match that they could to cover up the fact that Shane McMahon's not a wrestler, which is exactly what you need to do with Shane McMahon. That's how you get the best match possible out of Shane McMahon, is you throw all the bells and whistles, all the gimmicks at it, and cover up what he can't do, which is fine. AJ can work with anybody in any style of match, so he did well. Match was so-so for me. You thought it was very good, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was a 3.5.
3.5 out of 5?
Yeah.
I would go 2.5. But
you have no love in your heart.
It was an average match to me. It's completely forgettable outside of the fact that Shane McMahon did the coast to coast, and by the end of it, I was like, man, this is going a little long. You
have no love in your. You know what?
None.
You have no Care Bear heart love. None. None.
No, but I do have Captain Planet love.
Well, that's just silly because Captain Planet is.
I'm the Native American kid. I'm Heart.
Captain Planet wasn't a Native American.
No, the kid that had the ring with the heart. It was wind, fire, water, heart.
The United Nations?
Yeah, pretty much,
United Nations of kids? Let's be real here. That was the biggest crock of crap I've ever seen in the world. Okay, so 5 rings.
It was a terrible show.
5 rings make one guy. Like, seriously. So what happens if one of them's missing? He only makes, a half? A fourth?
I don't think he comes at all.
Yeah, so, what if the planet is still in danger?
Then the planet is fucked. These 5 kids have to be around each other and have to show their ring to the sky and say their superpower.
And first and foremost, if he is Captain Planet and he's coming in,
and he's our hero, he's going to bring pollution down to 0.
In 2017,
he's our powers magnified, and he's fighting on the planet's side.
He couldn't even get across the border. Let's be honest with ourselves. First and foremost, he is green.
Yeah, Trump would shoot him down.
Yeah, he'd be shot on sight. Like, seriously, like, this is the thing. Like, we need to embargo those rings first and foremost. Because if they're making people out of these rings, we need to know what's going on. Okay, we need to know what is going on. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right. Well, now that we've talked about children's TV shows that used to come on after WCW Saturday Night, Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. I thought it was a good match. It didn't do anything spectacular, but they didn't really need it to. It needed to be Kevin Owens getting his ass kicked by Chris Jericho and then winning the match, which is what happened. So, again, 16 minutes. I thought that was right about where they should be. About 15-minute long match to blow off that feud. I thought it should have been in a different place in the card, and I thought it should have been for a different title. But I can't control those things. So the match itself I thought was very good. It was as good a match as any Raw main event ever can be. And that's about the highest praise I can give it. I would put it at about 3.5.
I would give it. I thought it was good. I wasn't so much concerned about the belt because, hey, they really didn't do anything really concerning about the belt. So, like really the whole belt was meaningless. It was really in regards to the two former best friends who are no longer best friends. Avenue, which was pretty cool. Like I love the way they ended it. The match itself was better than a lot of the other ones that had build-ups. I'm looking at you, Bray and Orton. I would give it 4.
Oh wow,
4
wow.
For what
Right
what
on.
it was. I thought the build-up matched the actual build-up matched the actual match. I meant to do that. But like I said, overall, 4 out of 5.
Moving on to the next match on the card, the women's fatal 4-way match for the Raw Women's Championship. Bayley, Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Nia Jax. One of these things is not like the other. I thought that this was an opportunity to put the belt back on Flair in a big way, or to move it to Sasha and do a full heel turn for her. Knowing what we know now of the superstar shakeup, obviously Charlotte's not an option because she was going to move to SmackDown. And Sasha, I guess they're going with a slow burn on this because now they've got Sasha kind of angling towards a feud with Alexa Bliss. So they either they're going slow burn or they just don't know what to do. But Bayley retains, despite I don't know anybody that called Bayley retaining. But Bayley retains in a decent Raw match, 12 minutes. I give it 2 stars. It didn't really do anything for me. Didn't do anything to hurt me. The women put in A+ effort. I'm not going to cut them down for it. It felt like a cobbled together match. It should have been a one-on-one match. Either Bayley versus Charlotte and some kind of gimmick, or Sasha versus Bayley, but that would have required them to accelerate the heel turn. But I thought that 2 of those people in the match could have been eliminated without any problem, and it would have made the match better. Nia Jax, in particular, could have been eliminated from that match, and it wouldn't have mattered at all. She was just there to catch people when they flew off the top rope. And it didn't do anything for me. Go ahead.
I'll say this. The match was great until Nia got eliminated because she was the fun factor.
Right.
And then it was sort of, okay, we have the standard horsewomen match. And then they eliminated the wrong person. They should have, at that point, eliminated Charlotte instead of Sasha.
Right.
And it should have been Sasha and Bayley at the end so you can start the heel turn, which they're seemingly wanting to go down by SummerSlam.
Yeah, I agree with that. That would have been cool.
That probably would have been the best. If you wanted to, I believe Nia should have won the match. Mainly because I was kind of sick of seeing the Horsewomen with just inter-swapping these titles.
Right.
Okay. But if you wanted Nia to go out first, fine. Charlotte should have been out second, not Sasha. Because once Sasha went out, the air in the match just left.
I think
and
that
no one gave a crap about that match.
I think it could have been a
that.
lot more fun if you had eliminated Charlotte first. If Charlotte goes out first, and then you have Sasha and Bayley take out Nia, put her through a table or whatever, and then it's Sasha and Bayley until one of them, and maybe let's say Sasha, let's say they're going to have Bayley win the match.
Right.
Sasha has Bayley locked in, her finish or whatever, or she hits the frog splash or whatever. Nia swoops in, squashes Sasha like a bug, pins her, and then it's Nia versus Bayley. And I think if you've eliminated Charlotte and you suddenly have Nia at the end of the match, everybody and their brother is going to buy Nia as winning this title.
I mean, but at that point, I think you'd have to have her win the title.
I don't think you do. I think you can have Bayley win it, and you can still have a rematch. That's a ready-made match for Raw the next night. It's a ready-made feud for your next pay-per-view at Payback. Whatever. You'd have a match ready to go. Now, yeah, the better story would be to go ahead and put the belt on Nia, but I think that everybody would see that coming. The immediate reaction of the audience would be Nia's winning this match.
But that would
pull that
I think
back
that
and
would
Bayley win.
I think that would be the better story, though. Like, you've already laid out that she's pretty. Did you say she beat Charlotte?
Yeah, I would have Nia pin Charlotte and then Nia
she
pin
pinned
Sasha.
So you can't have her pin both of them and then have Bayley beat Nia. You can't. It doesn't
even. You can, because Bayley's the plucky babyface. That's the whole point of her character.
She's the plucky babyface, but you have Nia as the person, as in the women's division. She's Braun Strowman. Like, that's the thing. And you can't have Bayley is not going to beat her. Like, if you just literally look at it as a size advantage, it's not going to happen. Like, and you literally had her take out Charlotte, take out Sasha, lose to Bayley. Like, the better story would just been like, all right, give the title to Nia, and then have Bayley, if you wanted to do it this way, have Bayley be the underdog role and getting that role back, being in that role of underdog again, and rising back up to challenge Nia. That would have worked if you wanted to go for long-term booking. But if you're going to have Nia beat Charlotte, beat Sasha, can't have her lose to Bayley at that point. That's why I just said, if you're going to have her lose first, you're going to have, all three of them take out Nia first. Didn't because I thought Nia was awesome. But if you're going to have her go out first, fine. Charlotte had to go out second, not Sasha. Because it doesn't even make sense. And now, considering the fact that, Sasha's on another show, not Sasha, Charlotte's on another show, sort of is like, what the hell was the point?
Right. Well, for further coloring on this, I have a little mini segment I'm going to insert right now. Okay, so I have with me the beautiful, the talented, the wonderful, the fantastic, the Princess Avalon. Avalon, would you please say hi to the listeners of DorkChat Radio?
Hi.
Okay, yeah, you don't need to be that close to the microphone. Okay, so as part of my continuing experiments into what it's like as a mark, because it's been so long since I've been a mark for the business, my daughter, Avalon, knows nothing of the backstage dealings in the business, and so far, the main thing that's caught her attention, of course, is the women's division, specifically Charlotte. So what I want, Avalon, from you is I want you to give me what your impressions were, what you remember, what you liked of WrestleMania.
Well, I liked Charlotte's outfit. It was bright peacocky.
Charlotte's outfit was very peacocky.
I love peacocks. I love peacocks.
I know you love peacocks, and I know
they're pretty. They're pretty. They're pretty.
She just did a very interesting interpretive dance. So on top of Charlotte having peacocks, what else do you remember of WrestleMania, or do you remember anything? You remember that Charlotte lost her match?
No.
Yeah, she lost the match. Bayley won. Yeah, you weren't a fan of that.
Oh, yeah. I remember. Nia, you said that Nia squished her like a bug. And you said that also Charlotte definitely eliminated her from her team.
Yes, that is also true.
Well, I'm upset about one person being there, because she's the one I don't like too, because she has inflatable tube men, which I don't know their names of.
The wacky inflatable tube men?
Yeah. What are they called?
The wacky inflatable tube men.
Okay. I don't like those. I hide from them. So I do not like her.
You don't like Bayley. That is, by the way, a 7-year-old girl who likes Charlotte and hates Bayley.
7.5.
I stand corrected. 7.5. Well, thank you, Princess Avalon. That was a lovely...
Just the princess.
Just the princess, apparently. She's working on her gimmick. Thank you, the princess. And hopefully we'll see you on the next podcast, yeah?
Sure.
Say goodbye to everybody.
Bye!
Thank you, Avalon. That was interesting. Moving on to the next match on the card, we've got the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Ladder Match, which, by the way, that means there were 2 Fatal 4-Way matches in a row. The elimination match for the ladies and then the tag match. Maybe that could have been switched around. But anyway, the Hardy Boys, of course, making their glorious, delightful return to the WWE.
No, don't drop the lead. Don't drop the lead. What did I tell you? Come on. I want to hear it.
I've forgotten.
Oh, you've forgotten.
Yeah, I've forgotten.
No, don't say for you forgot. You forgot. We went to SmackDown, and in the car ride, what did I say?
I don't remember.
You are.
We argued. No, I'm serious. Whatever you say, you said, I will give you credit for. But we argued so much, and the majority of what I remember is arguing over Shane and AJ. So I don't really remember what we said about the Hardy Boys. Did you call them showing up at WrestleMania?
I said, and see, now that is something we're not going to do. Act like I didn't call it because I have the message beforehand.
Okay.
Wait, yeah, that's right. And we can't insert this into this. I don't know how, but we will do that.
Okay.
I said when they switched it to a ladder match, I was like, that's when the Hardys are showing up.
Okay.
I say that was exactly when the Hardys. Now, see, now you're trying to downplay my.
No, I remember that. I remember that now that you say it.
I will flick you in your eyeball when I see you because I don't appreciate you trying to just downplay my prediction. Okay, that I nailed.
Everybody, let's stand in reverence
to
the great Nostradamus. No. You asked for this. Let's stand in reverence to the great Nostradamus of the WWE booking, Brian Crawley. He called that the Hardy Boys were going to show up at WrestleMania before any of us did. DorkChat owes a debt of gratitude to Brian Crawley for calling that for us so that we knew what to expect so that we could react properly.
First and foremost, you're going to lower your tone, okay? You're going to lower the tone, okay? Second, you're going to turn me into Negro Damas, and I'm going to Negro Damas in the head, okay? So I don't appreciate how you talk to me right now, okay? Just going to say that. I'm just going to put that out there, okay? Okay. Better check your tone.
This is why we do this podcast. Not for any other goddamn reason. It's that right there. I love making you so angry. And then you explode in the funniest ways possible.
It just go around my credit. Like I didn't predict this.
I love that you're so bent out of shape over me forgetting that you called this.
Even though it was like 3 weeks ago, I kind of am. I kind of hurt.
I love that you're so hot about this because
I'm like,
seriously, like, you said, oh, don't forget to lead it. And I'm like, shit, did we talk about something right before the podcast that I was supposed to lead this match in with? Like, did we mention something specific I was supposed to say and I've forgotten it?
I'm going to figure out a way to post this in here, this section.
Well, if you screenshot it for me, I'm assuming it's a conversation we had on Facebook, yes?
Yes.
If you screenshot it for me,
I
will make that the image for the podcast. And so when you pull it up on YouTube, because this one's gonna have to be YouTube too. We're gonna switch back to SoundCloud here pretty soon, but this one's gonna be YouTube. When you turn on YouTube and you're watching the show, that'll be the image.
Ain't right, it'll be the image. Goddamn.
All right, well, go ahead. Screenshot it and email it to me or send it to me on Facebook, whatever the hell you want to do. The Hardy Boys win the tag team ladder match. We got
I don't even care now. I don't even care about me. No. F them. That's how I feel.
The Hardys win. They're doing a nostalgia act, apparently, so that they can wait until lawyers have figured out the broken gimmick, which I think everybody anticipated they were going to do the broken gimmick anyway. Which, I mean, Matt Hardy's not even trying. He's doing the broken gimmick. He's just doing a very slight broken gimmick.
He's trying.
He's sowing seeds.
They're trying to because he hasn't talked like it yet. So he hasn't
used the voice and he hasn't said any of the catchphrases. But he's doing the big goofy wide-eyed smile and he's acting weird. And you can tell these are the seeds of the broken gimmick. This is where this is going to go. At some point, Matt's going to snap. and Brother Nero is going to come out, and it's going to be great.
Probably.
The match itself, 11 minutes, didn't hurt anything. No huge spots. There was Jeff Hardy doing the big ladder spot, which we all expect. With Jeff Hardy and ladders, he's going to do something stupid.
Honestly, I didn't expect that.
I did. I expected him to go off the giant ladder because that's Jeff's thing.
I understand that.
I didn't think he was going to do it to the outside. I thought he was going to do a giant ladder spot to the inside of the ring, where there would be more safety. It'd be more protected, but no.
I didn't because of the previous night. So that's the reason why I didn't. I was kind of shocked because they just had a ladder match in regards to the was it Ring of Honor? Their WrestleMania, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, the Ring of Honor show with the Young Bucks, where the Young Bucks won the tag titles.
And they had their all-out, war in regards to the ladder match. So I was like, I didn't think he was going to do anything crazy. And yet still, he did. Because you know why? He killed his dog in a fire. There you go, people.
Jesus Christ.
What? He did.
John Cena and Nikki Bella faced off against The Miz and Maurice.
I'm mad you just hard leap over that. Like that goes to show you that he's crazy and he's just dangerous.
Man,
he's carefree.
Man.
Enigma.
Yeah, he is
dog
an
killer.
enigma, and so are you.
He's a dog killer.
John Cena and Nikki Bella in a tag team match against The Miz and Maurice, in which
like dogs.
I don't even remember
cats
who.
Too.
Son of a bitch.
I was just gonna keep going till you responded to me. You're not gonna overlook my dog and cat talk. I can say that. Continue.
Yes, Jeff Hardy killed his dog in a fire. Apparently, we acknowledge this. Let's moving on. Let's moving on.
First of all, why do you have to put apparently on? You did that same thing with my credit. Like seriously, that disturbs me. Like, first and foremost, my prediction happened. Him killing the dog happened. Like, why we act like it didn't happen?
False news.
That's like allegedly. Like, all right, that's the new word. Apparently,
here's
allegedly.
the thing. I didn't remember what the hell you were talking about when we were talking about the prediction. I had no idea. I still thought we were talking about something else.
But you remember the dog thing, don't you?
The dog thing, I remember, but I thought that was an accidental fire.
I don't care. You can say whatever you want.
I know that we all made the joke that he had a meth lab explosion, but I know that apparently that was supposed to be a I don't know what's happening on your end there, but I heard microphones kaplumping. Hoping you're not getting robbed.
I'm gonna look it up. Jeff Hardy kills a dog. Let's see when it comes up. I can't
believe you are looking up.
First and foremost, why does it when I put Jeff Hardy kills, Umaga is the first thing that comes up? Messed up in itself. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that.
Jeff Hardy, for the record, as far as we know, had nothing to do with Umaga's death.
Just gonna go ahead and throw that out there, but that's what Google said.
Speaking of Umaga's death, it's sad news and serious news. Rosie, who was Umaga's partner in the 3-minute warning, passed away today, or at least he passed away recently, and the announcement was made today. So our thoughts go out with the Inoue family, or I think that's how you pronounce that. I've never actually heard it pronounced.
I don't know.
Our hearts and thoughts go out to that family, and it's just terrible to lose somebody that young, especially somebody that talented from that family. It's rough. But anyway, what did you find out about Jeff Hardy apparently murdering a dog?
It's been almost 9 years, so next year will be a 10-year anniversary, so we can all pour out a 40-ounce for his dog that he killed in his fire of his double wide. That's right, because you know what? He killed his dog in a double wide that burned down. It was an accident, but I
don't know if there is a worse way to go than dying in a fire in a double wide in North Carolina.
Yep.
That's pretty terrible.
Yep. He was, according to legendary wrestling commentator Jim Ross, Hardy and his girlfriend were not home at the time. Jeff's brother Matt saw smoke coming from the home, but was too late to do anything about it. Jeff lived in a double-wide trailer. First and foremost, that's a TMZ article that says Matt saw, but it was too late to do anything about it. And then, period, Jeff lived in a double-wide trailer. Jeff lived in a double-wide trailer. First and foremost, that's a TMZ article that says Matt saw, but it was too late to do anything about it. And then, period, Jeff lived in a double-wide trailer. And then, period, Jeff lived in a double-wide trailer. What does that have to do with the story? Like, you could have just said he lost his home. Why does it have to single out he lived in a double wide? But okay.
I guess they just really want to hammer home that Jeff lost everything. I guess. Right. I don't know.
Yeah. So, but that's the thing. Earlier, because I read the second paragraph first. The first paragraph, WWE star Jeff Hardy's home in Cameron, North Carolina, burned to the ground last night. The same week he was suspended for 60 days for failing his second drug test. He lost all his possessions, and his dog perished in the blaze.
Jesus.
There's no need to mention the double wide thing. That's just like kicking him.
That's kicking him while he's down. Yeah.
That's messed up. But okay,
wow.
Let's continue. I'm sorry.
Let's continue. John Cena, Nikki Bella beat The Miz and Maurice in a completely forgettable 9-minute match. Nobody cared. Everybody was there to see what he did after the match. When he admitted to asking Nikki stuff while she was doped up. So, good guy John Cena. But apparently they're going to get married. Yay! No one saw that coming.
Well, sort of telegraphed that, so.
Yeah, a little bit. I remember arguing with somebody over that in DorkChat as to whether or not they were going to do that. I don't remember if it was you or if it was Cliff or...
It was me, Austin.
It was you?
It was me the entire time.
I would believe that. And that was a great Vince impression. Not really.
I'm not really. I wasn't really going for it. I was going for Blince, Black Vince. So, F off, buddy. All right, go ahead. Continue.
All right, Blince. That's a new character.
I'm trying new things over here, man.
I'm trying new things because they might taste good. I watch way too much children's television with my daughter. John Cena and Nikki Bella beat The Miz and Maurice. John proposed afterwards. 1.5 star match because I don't remember any of it.
Nope.
And 2 stars for the angle.
Mainly because Nikki couldn't do anything.
Yeah, and 2 stars for the angle because it was a proposal. And at least
2 stars for the angle.
For the angle.
Are you kidding?
It paid stuff off. It paid off the Total Bellas thing.
I'm gonna punch you in your ever-loving left cheek. You give 2 stars for the angle. The angle was, my God, 5 stars. Okay.
Wow.
Now
wow.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? We were sitting in the
No. Not the angle that led up to the match. I'm talking about the angle after the match.
Oh, okay. Well, that's where I was.
The angle leading up to the match, which was all Miz and Maurice just fucking hitting things out of the park. That's 5 stars. Absolutely.
Okay.
But I'm talking about the proposal.
Oh, okay.
The proposal gets 2 stars for me. It was there.
Okay. Then I take back my punch back. I take it back.
All right, well, good. My left cheek thanks you.
Yeah, now if you say something else.
My ever-loving left cheek thanks you.
If you say something else silly, then you're getting the knuckle sandwich. Like, I can't hold this knuckle sandwich back. Like, I've already made it. It's prepared. It's got seasoning on it. It's got nice seasoning. Got crisp tomatoes and lettuce. So, if you say something, I got to use it. Just letting you know. Continue.
Okay. The next match on the card was the
That's what happens when we don't do podcasts for like 2 months.
We blow up. The next match on the card, Seth Rollins and Triple H with Stephanie McMahon. The match goes an unbelievably long and depressing 25 minutes and 30 seconds. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why that match had to go that long, other than Triple H needed to stroke his ego. The match itself wasn't bad. They put in good effort. 3 stars on the match. Fine, whatever. But it didn't really do anything to make Seth Rollins look any more dangerous. It didn't really do anything to mitigate or wipe away or pay off any of the heat that Triple H and Stephanie, especially Stephanie, have gotten over the last year. It just was there. Stephanie took a table bump. Yay! Okay. It didn't pay off the fact that she's been mistreating everybody on the roster for an entire year. Her taking 1 table bump a year is not going to pay that off. So, especially when it's an accidental one. So the whole thing screamed of bullshit to me, and it's sad because I like Triple H and I like Seth Rollins as wrestlers. I think they're very good. The match itself was very good. Triple H knows what the fuck he's doing in the ropes. He knows how to put on a good match. He looks like a goddamn superstar compared to a lot of the guys that are parading as superstars right now, which is, again, a problem. But I don't know why it had to go 26 minutes. The booking of it doesn't make any sense to me.
I'll say this. I didn't like it, but I was completely indifferent ways than you. I had no problem with I did have a problem with the match. I didn't really like it. I thought it was kind of but the whole thing with Stephanie, like, I know your problem was like the way that she treated the whole roster. My whole thing was the whole basis of this really was Triple H turned on Seth Rollins and gave the belt to Kevin Owens because he thought that Rollins no longer was worthy and didn't, whatever. He didn't, whatever. It doesn't really matter at that point. Like, he thought he was no longer worthy, so he bestowed it to Kevin Owens. Like, Stephanie at that point really didn't, because she was sort of like, she didn't know anything about that. Like, that was the whole thing at that point. She didn't know anything about that.
Right.
Like, she didn't know anything about that. There was really no need to really include Stephanie in this, except for her being technically that was her husband.
Right.
Like, if I'm missing something, they didn't really do anything like she was playing the owner of Raw role,
right.
But it really didn't do so much in regards to the avenue, the storyline. Because what was the actual storyline of purpose of her being there? Like,
Just
there was
to
really
be in his corner, I guess.
Yeah, there was nothing real. There was no real point of her being there. Like, cause she wasn't. The whole point of the Seth Rollins versus Triple H was Triple H's protege was Seth Rollins. He didn't feel Seth Rollins was worthy enough to be the guy because of him pretty much breaking down, and that was a valid point. They could have used that.
Yeah,
that worked fine. But the whole thing, because it got delayed in regards to, Seth Rollins got it, like, here would have been much better. And this is the one thing you didn't need Stephanie. Why didn't you bring Samoa Joe out there?
Right.
Like, and I understand, why they didn't bring it? Because you had 80-yard freaking ramp, okay?
But if Joe is in Triple H's pocket, then theoretically, you could kayfabe that Triple H paid Joe off enough money that he would sit under the ring for 5.5 hours until it was time to come out and attack Seth Rollins.
Right.
So I could believe that, and then you don't really have to have him do that. You just build the stage an extra couple of feet higher, which they do all the time anyway, and then Joe is just literally walks down the ramp under the ring and gets into the ring.
I mean, here's where they could have gone with it, and it would have made more absolute sense. They didn't have Stephanie. You had Joe do the little, I'm going to do the run it, and then you would have Finn come in and help with the save.
Yeah, that would have helped too.
I mean, even then, still, you could have still had the tension between Seth and Finn, which they did have the next night on Raw, because, hey, Seth was the guy that crippled Finn, and Samoa Joe was the guy that crippled Seth. It's a circle, people. Everybody cripples everybody.
Everybody cripples everybody.
But at the same time, that actually makes more sense than Stephanie being in the corner. And I know people are like, well, why are you harping on that? Because it made no real reason why she was there except for that being her husband. Like, unless I missed something, what was the real reason for her to be there?
To take the bump. Take the bump and give Triple H a way that he can lose without losing any heat.
Again, you would have had it, and you would have got two guys on the show that everybody wanted to see.
Yep.
That would have made more sense, and it would have been a lot better.
I still would have had Stephanie out there and do the same finish. I just would have had Joe and Balor interrupt, and both of them take each other out, and then do the same finish with Stephanie.
I don't even know if I would have.
But I would have done it all in about 15 minutes instead of 25.
I wouldn't have had Stephanie out there. That's just me. I didn't.
It's a 3-star match, maybe 3.5. Might go 3.5.
3. It was 2.5 for me. It was, in all honesty, the second worst match of the night.
Wow.
To me.
Yeah. It wasn't that bad to me. It was just that it was ridiculously booked and way too long.
Right.
Speaking of ridiculously booked, the next match on the card is the WWE Heavyweight title match between Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt.
First and foremost, I'd like to say this. That snake thing looked stupid and it looked like a piece of sperm. And I swear to God, that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I don't even know why WWE thought that was a good idea to do that. Like
in the 80s, the early 90s, The Undertaker had control of the lights. And in the late 90s, Kane had control of the fire. And now, apparently, Bray Wyatt has control of a video projector. It's not as impressive.
Again, I had no problems with the match. I had a problem with the ending, but not with the match itself.
I had a problem with just about every facet of the match.
Wow.
I think Bray Wyatt is capable of a lot more than he's shown. But you can only live on potential for so long. And as a guy that talks as well as he does, if he can't pick it up as a worker, he needs to just become a manager. And that's sad to say because I like Bray Wyatt a lot. And I think his gimmick is one of the best gimmicks the WWE has put out in years, and that's primarily because Bray is in control of it. I think that his ability to talk is he's among the elite in the business currently, and has lots of room for growth. He's a great size for a wrestler. He has great agility for a wrestler. He bumps well. He sells well. He still has not given me a match that I really liked. Not one time can I point to a Bray Wyatt match, and say, that match was amazing and Bray Wyatt is the reason. He had a good match with John Cena. He had a great match with The Shield versus the Wyatt family, and that's about it.
I would just like to say, and this is going to sound so bad, but then compare Bray. This is just what you're saying. He's never had a memorable match, correct? He's never had a memorable match.
Not really,
right?
no.
Now I'm going to bring some guy that's got a lot of heat. Roman Reigns, who a lot of people think can't wrestle.
Right.
And he's had this. If you look at the list of people, they're the exact same, but I guarantee you every match you remember with Reigns, but yet he's the one that's less entertaining and can't wrestle compared to Bray. And again, I love Bray.
Right.
I was just pointing that fact out because
I think
people
that
don't people hold one up and put one down when if you actually look at things, one should be really, really high up. I'm just gonna say
I think that Roman Reigns, I think that the problem with Roman Reigns for everyone is that he's not a heel. He's not a traditional heel. And that if they just did a heel turn with him, everybody would be happy with him. His matches are fine. His matches are fine to good. And sometimes more than good.
I would say from good to great depending on the match type and the match itself. But like all of his matches are good. It's nothing below good. But
I've seen him have some snooze. I've seen him have some
matches.
But
here's the thing: I can list a lot of matches. I can list a lot in regards to people he's actually wrestled with, and you can't think he's just saying, oh, it's the other person, other person, because he's starting to having them with all of them, and he's the singular link between all of them, and he's wrestled different styles. Right. That's the whole point. So
he had really good matches with Big Show and Kane in a period where they were not having good matches with anyone.
I would say he's had a big match. We're not going to go into that. Let's continue on this match.
Bray Wyatt. We're going to stick with Bray Wyatt for right now. Bray Wyatt loses the title to Randy Orton, which, again, that's another facet of the match that I have a problem with. I don't think Randy Orton needs the title. I don't think he even particularly wants the title. I think this was just a receipt for what they allowed Brock Lesnar to do to him at SummerSlam, and that's it. And it's a means to an end to get the title back to Nakamura, or AJ again, or Owens or something. Orton is just the guy that's keeping the title warm until they figure out what the hell they're going to do with it so that they can build towards next WrestleMania. But
I
Orton
think
is
the
as
whole
boring.
thing-
Orton is as boring in the ring and as a character as any top guy I can ever remember. And again, this is sad because Randy Orton is probably one of the most naturally talented wrestlers in the company. Just ungodly amounts of natural talent, natural charisma, because people still pop for him. Natural talent, natural charisma, natural just presence, everything. He's got the size, he's got the look, he's got everything. But for whatever reason, I am bored to tears by Randy Orton. And I was bored by him as a heel with the Authority. I was bored with him. I'm bored with him as a face against Wyatt. The only time he was interesting was as a heel in the Wyatt family because he was doing something drastically different from anything he'd ever done. He wasn't the focus. He was the guy that was... It was weird because he was allowing someone else to be the focus. And that it made Bray Wyatt a bigger star to me, and it made Randy Orton far more interesting. And to have a match where Orton has now turned babyface, and he's a fucking horrible babyface. Orton as a babyface against Bray Wyatt, and they just have a meandering match that out of 10 minutes and 30 seconds, probably a good minute of it was projections on the mat. It was awful. It was an awful, awful match. It gets 1 star out of me, and half of the star is just for the fact that they even had the balls to do the projection thing in the first place. And the first time they did it, I was, oh, that's neat. That's a thing that they did. Now I wonder what they're going to do with it. Spoiler, fucking nothing. They don't do anything with it. It doesn't affect Randy Orton in any way, shape, or form. He's not scared or weirded out by it at all. It's just a thing that happens. And then they do it twice more, inexplicably, for no reason, with different fucking bugs and shit. That match annoyed me so much that I am now ranting about it. I am sorry. Your thoughts?
Well, I just think that the match was fine. I thought the match was better than Seth versus Triple H. The problem I had was the ending. It makes it look worse because this is a guy, Bray Wyatt. Like, I don't understand why you take the belt off of. I don't understand why you took the belt off of AJ and you had Bray not only beat AJ, but he beat John Cena in one match at the February pay-per-view. And then you had him from the title from that point on with the belt, okay? And then you give the belt back to Orton. If your whole game plan is to turn AJ face, so now you're going to have AJ versus Orton for the belt, which is supposed to be going down the pipeline. I would have much rather had AJ versus Bray for the title than Orton. Orton doesn't need the belt at all. There's no real reason for him to have the belt. Like, you've literally, and WWE keeps doing this, they keep killing his character for no apparent reason whatsoever. Like you have, and I'm going on a tangent, and I know it's not in regards to WrestleMania, but it's in regards to how they're booked Bray Wyatt. You have a single match at the next pay-per-view, which is a Raw pay-per-view, but you have Bray versus Orton in this whatever called, what is the star name of the match? What is the name of the stupid match? You know which match I'm talking about? Okay, so the match is going to be it's the House of Horrors match at the Raw pay-per-view. It's Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt. We already know that Randy Orton wins. You know why we already know he wins? Because they've announced the stipulation that Kevin Owens, whoever wins the U.S. belt or whatever, is going back to Raw. There's no freaking stipulation for that in regards to. Excuse me. Whoever wins the U.S. belt is going back to SmackDown. There's no stipulation in regards to that for the Bray versus Orton match. The winner is going to SmackDown. Bray Wyatt, his first night there was in a feud or whatever with Finn Balor.
Yep.
So you've already established that Bray is gone. Like, there's really no point of this match now. Like, you've already given it away. Like, it doesn't even matter. This is why every time you do something good with Bray, you take one step forward and then 2 steps back. There's no reason I don't know what they're doing with his character. He is probably the best thing they have character-wise that they've created in a long time, and yet they don't know how to use him. And I'm not one of the I don't know how to use him per se, but I know one thing: if you have him beat AJ Styles and John Cena, you may want to have him keep the belt for longer than 1 month, because it makes more sense and more prestige if he has the belt, and then you have a feud with AJ immediately after WrestleMania, or you finish the feud after WrestleMania with Orton, and then you wrap it up with AJ. You start the feud with AJ Styles. Here's another thing that didn't make any sense. Why is Orton, who burned down this man's house,
the babyface?
The babyface.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Like,
nothing about Orton Wyatt makes sense.
None of it. Like,
none of it makes sense. It had tons of potential, much like Bray Wyatt's entire career at this point. It has tons of potential, and it's not living up to any of it, and none of it makes sense.
WWE, because WWE.
And I don't want to spend any more time on it, other than the fact that obviously you're not as angry about it as I am, but I am pissed at that match and the entire angle leading up to it. It was all horse shit to me, and
the angle was
did not give anybody a chance to shine.
The angle was fine. The lead up to it was fine. The match itself was fine. The ending is what I could not stand, because it made everything that they had be from everything else just pissed on it. Like, it's just like let's literally if I had to just the actual outcome, I would give it a 0.5 or lower, because it was so bad. It made no sense. But continue. I'm sorry.
We're going to move on to the next match, because we've already been at this thing for a while now, so this is going to be a little bit of a long podcast, but it's WrestleMania wrap-up, and we'll get to Superstar Shakedown some other time. The next match on the card, Brock Lesnar versus Bill Goldberg, and I'm going to say this, and this might be a little controversial, this might surprise you. This was the match of the night for me. Shocked me. Sitting there after the match, especially after WrestleMania was over, I was shocked that my favorite match on the card, I think the best match on the card, was Brock Lesnar and Bill Goldberg. I thought it was the most smartly booked match that they had on the card. They did not do anything that they couldn't pull off perfectly. They did all of the things that they could do perfectly. The right guy went over, and everybody played their parts perfectly. Brock Lesnar knows who the fuck he is. Outside of any other thing that you want to say about Brock Lesnar knows exactly who Brock Lesnar is, and he plays Brock Lesnar. It's a character. It's very much based on who he is as a real person, but it is a character, because when he hit Goldberg, and he had Goldberg down, and then there was that moment where he stood up and turned around, and Goldberg's in midair for the spear. That look of, oh fuck, on Brock's face was perfect. Everything, even the way that they shot the match, was perfect. For me, it's a 4-star match. And 4 minutes and 45 seconds is exactly the length that match needed to go. Not 1 second more, not 1 second less. It needed to go exactly that long, because they needed just enough time for Brock Lesnar to get in there, to beat his ass a little bit, to get cocky, for Goldberg to go, nope, not yet, for Brock Lesnar to realize I have to fucking put him away, and then for Brock to put him away. There was no fanciness in the match. It was German suplexes, punches, brawling, and F5s. And that's all the match needed to be. I fucking loved it. I never want to see Bill Goldberg wrestle again. And I don't think Brock is going to be able to carry that over into his next match. But that match specifically was as perfectly tightly booked a match can be. It played to their strengths, ignored their weaknesses. It was Paul Heyman's ECW through and through. It did exactly what it needed to do, and it's my match of the night.
I would just like to say this. I never thought that the match would be bad. I always thought it would be fine. I thought it would be everyone was complaining about it. I didn't think it'd be complaining, because I figured that if it was going to be Goldberg's last match, it wasn't going to be as worse as the first match they had between Brock and Goldberg. And second, I thought it was just going to be like I said, I thought it was going to be I thought it was going to be a standard match. It was going to be about 5 minutes, and they were going to each do their spots, and Brock was going to win. And pretty much it did. Like, they solved everything. Like, it wrapped everything up in a nice little bow. And Brock got his first victory over Lesnar. Brock got his first victory over Goldberg. So it all worked out.
So, final score. Brock and Goldberg for me, match of the night. For you, you gave it what, 2 stars?
3.5.
3.5? It's not bad. That's, I gave it 4, so we're pretty right on so far.
Mm-hmm.
So the next match on the card, I know we both kind of talked about this a little bit before. The 6-pack challenge between Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Carmella, Mickie James, Natalya, and Becky Lynch. Now, all the way up until the match actually started, I was under the impression that this was an open challenge match and that there still could be other people involved. Obviously, that was not the case. The 6 ladies that I just mentioned were the only 6 ladies in the match, and apparently that was announced beforehand, and I missed it. But I was all excited thinking somebody else was going to come. I think the best part of the match, the funniest part of the match to me, was when they were introducing Mickie James. She got halfway down the ramp, and then she was attacked. I thought that was hilarious. She didn't even get a full entrance. I actually, you know what? I might be mixing that with Raw the next night. Or Raw, when she got it. But it doesn't matter. I know she didn't get a full entrance at WrestleMania. She got halfway down the ramp, and then the next girl came out.
No, and this is the thing. They were so set pressed on time. The only one that got their full entrance and, she got over entrance was Naomi.
Yeah.
Because
which was, everybody knew that was coming because it's their hometown, and she's got an entrance. She actually has a thing. And, of course, they're now obsessed with the projector image, so they had to do that, too. And Naomi goes over. It's the right call. She's the right person to put the belt on. Obviously, she only lost it because she got hurt in the first place. Alexa Bliss was, getting ready to pack her bags and go to Raw. So I don't think that any of the group of Carmella, Mickie James, Natty, or Becky Lynch needed the belt right this moment. Wouldn't have done any good for any of them. Naomi's the right call. I don't know if Naomi's just holding the belt for somebody else, but that whole division's just in complete disarray with Bliss gone and Charlotte coming in. I guess it's Charlotte and Naomi is the next program. I just don't see that being a decent match at all.
I think it's going to be fine.
I hope so. I really do. I love Charlotte, and I am rooting for Naomi. She's plucky to me. I like her.
I think you're forgetting how athletic Naomi is. And Naomi at a for a while, she was the most, and I still would say she's the most athletic woman that the roster has. I would say in that division, there's a bunch of talent that they have that they can use for right now. It's not as bare bones as you want to make it seem Charlotte's a safe. Nah, I wouldn't say that. And at the same time, I'd stay away from having Charlotte have the belt. For right now, I wouldn't want her because I don't want her to be a 5-time champion in a year.
Well, I think they're going to get Charlotte and Naomi together for SummerSlam.
Right.
I think that's a bankable match for that. I think she comes in, she probably feuds with Becky Lynch first. That would be my guess.
I thought Becky Lynch was on Raw.
No,
Becky Lynch is. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of
Mickie James.
Mickie James. Excuse me. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, I would have her come in, do another horsewoman feud, do it with Becky Lynch. That way they can leave that kind of unfinished, and when Charlotte has the title, they can readdress it, and then you can do the feud over the belt. But I would have her come in and work Becky Lynch for a few months. I would have Naomi work with somebody. I wouldn't do Carmella. She's dog shit in the ring. The best part of Carmella is Jimmy Dream on the outside. I don't know. And Natalya, I don't know what happened to Natty. I love Natty. I think she's adorably attractive. She has become one of the worst people to watch in the ring over the last year and a half, 2 years. Every match is painful to watch. So I wouldn't have her work Natty either. So
I would say
this. Where you go.
I would say this. I think, in all honesty, this is where they're going to go. They're going to go WrestleMania 34. They're going to set up Charlotte versus Nikki. Nikki cannot go every week, month or but she wants one last feud. She's going to be for the big matches that she's supposedly established. And that feud is money making in regards to the longest women's division, the longest reigning Divas champion versus Charlotte, the
most dominant woman,
the most dominant women's wrestler. I guarantee they've already started to plant the seeds that's going to happen. I guarantee you at WrestleMania 34 that's what's going to happen. I think Charlotte will come in with the belt. and Nikki will leave with the belt.
And then retire.
And then retire.
Yeah.
That's what I think's going to happen.
That's not a bad choice. It's not a bad decision. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
We'll see where they go. But yeah, 5 minutes. I'll give them the 2 stars because they worked hard. I mean, everybody was hitting their spots. Nobody botched. They tried to do as much as they could with 6 women in less than 6 minutes.
Again,
so
I literally think because of the way they scheduled and how they rearranged everything, this match would have probably had a longer time if it was in the pre-show. But because of the fan swell support, they moved it. But once they moved it, and where you moved it, then you got to look at the clock, and then you got to start.
I would have cut out 10 minutes out of Seth Rollins and Triple H. I would have made a fatal 4-way between Carmella, Mickie James, Natty, and Becky Lynch for a number 1 contender spot and put that on the pre-show. And I would have given Naomi and Alexa Bliss 10 minutes on the regular show.
Again, you're talking about these were matches that were already set. Like you're cutting matches that are already set the week of WrestleMania. Like that's the thing. Like you're cutting them like 2 days before the show. Like that's the problem that we have. Like social media in regards to getting the women on the main card was awesome. It was awesome. I'll say that. But this is a key but, and I wanted the women on the main card as well. But there is a problem. If you get them on the main card, they may not have the amount of time that they had in regards to especially 6 women in this type style match probably fit better on the pre-show because they had more time. Because it's the pre-show. And the only benefit for actually having it go on where it was Naomi's entrance. Because it looked way better at night than it did in the day. But otherwise, time constraint-wise, they had much more time to work with in the pre-show than on the main card. Because in the main card, you're going to have to start figuring out how to cut it.
Well, looking at the card itself, though, the way Vince books, he always has a cool-down match between the semi-main event and the main event. There's always a match in the middle of those two, and it always goes about 5 minutes, and it always is a match that people go to the bathroom for or do whatever.
Right.
They come down from the match before, and then they're hyped for the next match.
Right.
This match, and as much as I hate to say it, was the right cool-down match. You have 6 women in a match that you already know who's going to walk out with the title. It's a foregone conclusion. You know nothing crazy is going to happen, amazing that you're going to miss in the next 5-6 minutes. You can go take a piss. You can go get a refill. You can do whatever you need to do. You'll be back in time for the Undertaker's entrance. I think it was correctly placed on the card in terms of giving them the right cool-down match. Because what other match are you going to have for cool-down?
This is the thing. Again, I'm going to keep stating, I don't think this match wasn't originally the cool-down match. Like that's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. I think it was actually for the betterment of the show that ended up being the cool-down match.
And wait, I don't think it was the cool-down match. The cool-down match was the actual concert. Because again, if you have fan swell support to watch the women's match on the main card, you're going to have people watch the women's match on the main card wherever it is. Like that's the thing.
You know what's sad? I completely forgot there was a concert on the show. The reason I forgot is because as soon as the women's match was over, I said, "Oh, there's a concert coming. I'm going to go to the bathroom." And I was going to the bathroom, getting a refill, taking care of my dogs, doing all that stuff, and I came back just in time for Roman Reigns and The Undertaker. I missed the whole thing.
Like the concert itself was the cool down match because, like I said, people got the women's match on the main card. So people actually cared about that match. It wasn't if a women's match on, I'm going to take a match. No, they used the concert as I'm going to the bathroom. But my whole thing was the benefit was you got 6 women in sort of winner take all match. That mainly benefited you having it stretched longer, which benefited on the pre-show. You put it in an actual on the main card, it's going to be shortened because then where are you going to cut? Where are you going to start making cuts on the pre-show? I mean, on the main card. Pre-show matches. Hey, they were just like go out there and have fun. Like literally, they were just like go out there and whatever. But in the main, oh no, the main show had actual time restraints. And they were like, And the only one that actually seemed to actually have a lot of time was Triple H versus Rollins. And you think Triple H is getting the cut? You think he's gonna cut his match down?
Apparently not.
So, like, that's the thing. Like that was my biggest problem besides Bray losing the title WrestleMania weekend. That was my biggest thing because the women, as much as I love the SmackDown women, and I was all for them being on the main card, it was probably better for them to be on the pre-show because they would have actually been able to do more stuff on the pre-show and given more time than being on the main card and be like, go out there and Naomi. Because Naomi's entrance was like 2 minutes.
Right.
Like, and then you have a 6-minute match.
Right.
Think about that for
5.5 minute match.
Yeah, like.
Yeah.
Just gonna throw that out there. So.
Well, we're gonna move on to the main event of the show: Roman Reigns and The Undertaker. We've already argued about it. We've already discussed it. The cat's out of the bag. Right guy goes over.
Right.
I called that. I think everybody else probably called that too. We all knew Roman Reigns was going to go over.
Yes.
It was just a matter of how.
Yes.
I liked the story, the idea of this old gunslinger in The Undertaker, this grumpy old man that just refuses to die. They're trying to evoke images of Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair. It didn't quite click the way that I think that they had hoped it would.
Right.
But I liked the idea. I think that was the right move. The Undertaker should be the grumpy old gunslinger that refuses to go down. And Roman Reigns should be the cocky young upstart that puts him down. I'm fine with all that. The match being 23 minutes long, probably a little long. I know you and I had discussed at length that we thought the better angle would be for Roman Reigns to beat him in like a minute. But obviously they weren't going to go that way. I don't think Vince would even hear of that. So it was a matter of now letting The Undertaker go out there, put everything out there, have one last match where he leaves nothing else there. He has literally nothing else. And by the end of that match, I firmly believe The Undertaker literally does not have anything else to give. And the botch spot is what it was. The Undertaker shouldn't be trying to do a backflip at his age and his condition. So the botch spot is what it is. Roman seemed to be able to handle that well enough. They went on to the punch and moved on. And I don't think it really affected the match terribly much, other than maybe even just proving again that The Undertaker's done. And that this is a mercy killing.
Right.
Upon rewatching that match, the story was The Undertaker needs to die. He needs to go. This needs to be his last match. And Roman Reigns is just the only guy in the locker room willing to be that guy.
Right.
Brock's not interested because he's already done it. So otherwise it would be Brock. But nobody else in the locker room is willing to be the guy that puts The Undertaker away. Because you're not really winning anything. You know, you're not really beating anybody. You're beating an old man. But Roman Reigns, for the good of the company, will do that. And for his own glory too. Let's not mince that. He's one of the two guys to beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. And I thought he played the match well. He played it subtly heel. The Undertaker looked exasperated and tired the whole match, and considering he went 23 minutes, it's kind of surprising he was able to continue to go that long. They did a couple of good false finishes. I give the match 3.5, 4 stars. But it's mostly story, not action. It was fists. It was all fists.
Right.
But for the story helps. And then the post-match stuff, I thought, I had said before, I think after the match, he needs to take off his boots and leave him in the ring. And obviously he didn't want to take off his boots, but the hat and the jacket and the gloves are the same thing.
Right.
And I thought that was poignant and the right way to go out. I thought it was a fitting end to the Undertaker story. I liked it. I liked it as a finish to WrestleMania. I wish it had happened an hour earlier in the night. I'm a little jealous of our West Coast friends that had a show that went from 12 in the afternoon till like 9:30 at night. But it was the right call. So yeah, 4 stars for me.
I give the match about a 1.
God damn.
It was my worst match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said earlier, it was really nothing Undertaker could do anymore. He couldn't do anything. How the amount of time he stated, that's amazing. But a lot of that was, I'm just going to flail. It's not really, the story they built up. And this is the problem. They didn't even build up that story correct. Remember how they built up Shawn versus Flair?
Mm-hmm.
Remember how they built up Flair as, in regards to, he had to keep winning, or he would get fired, and Vince had to put all those people in front of him, and then he wanted Michaels to be the last guy or whatever. Remember that? And they had a whole month of that.
Right.
The problem that WWE had, they didn't really know that this was going to be Undertaker's last WrestleMania. They didn't build the story up like that. They tried to build up the actual match itself like that, but the story and the angle didn't match up or whatever, because they had to flip it at the very end. You remember, this wasn't, like I said, this wasn't going to be the main event. Remember, it was going to be Lesnar versus Goldberg, until everyone was like, Undertaker
Please
can't
don't
walk
rip
anymore.
any more paper in this.
So this has to be the end
on the recording.
Literally, he can't do anything anymore. So,
right.
They switched it on the fly. I said to do, this is what I would have done. I would have had Reigns versus Braun. And you would have had Undertaker do the surgery and see what could happen in a year.
Right.
You give him have the surgery, see what you can do, because you saw that spot on Raw where he was wheezing once he threw Braun out. You was like, he could not do this. If you're having the man, you already know something's wrong if he's not doing his signature entrance except for halfway from this 80-yard ramp. He's having to come up because he couldn't do it. I mean, literally, and like I said, I give him all the credit in the world. But the thing that's going to be remembered most about that match is Undertaker retiring. It wasn't a good match. It wasn't a good, the botch or whatever in regards, you can blame both of them for. I really don't care. I really didn't need to see 4, 5, whatever, spears, or however many Superman punches. It looked like it was just I don't know.
We're going to disagree on that one, because I liked the story of the match, obviously, and you did not.
You like the story in regards to what they tried to tell. I'm saying they didn't even have that story built up, so that was something in regards to when you already knew it was the end. That's what I'm saying. If you wanted to do.
See, I liked it live. I liked it then. It wasn't like I disliked it live and then I went back and watched it again. I was like, oh, it's a great match. No, I liked it live. The botch was a botch, and it soured a little bit of the match. But at the end of the day, live, I was thankful that the show was over. But B, I felt the emotion of the match. I bought the match. I enjoyed it. So for me, it's still a 4-star match to me.
Right, but
still, it's not quite match of the night, because for me, that's Brock and Goldberg. I thought that was the match of the night. I thought that was the most perfectly booked and perfectly performed match of the night.
Right.
But you and I disagree on both of those matches.
We're going to disagree because you're looking at in regards to what they told in the ring or whatever. I'm looking at
wrestling.
Right. It wasn't really wrestling. Let's be honest. It really wasn't. If we want to be perfectly honest, was that wrestling?
What is wrestling? Is wrestling telling a story in the ring using the backdrop of two guys going to fisticuffs? Or is wrestling a bunch of moves that are performed correctly?
How about this? So if we're going to do that, what about Shane then?
The story in the match was not really there.
But I'm gonna. What? You just said it wasn't about in regards to moves. If I'm basing it
And
a wrestling match in regards to me,
Shane and AJ's story was Shane inexplicably can go toe to toe with one of the best wrestlers in the world. They throw a bunch of spots at each other, and then they end the match when Shane slips on a banana peel. There was no real story to the match.
Well, actually, that wasn't even part of the actual angle in regards to the whole thing. Shane never said he was going to go straight up toe to toe in regards to AJ. He never did. He never said he was going to.
Constantly on commentary that Shane was going toe to toe with AJ Styles, that he was just as good as AJ Styles, and that's bullshit.
No,
it's bullshit. It was bullshit then. It's bullshit now.
The angle was not even the angle though. That's what I'm telling you. Like this is where we're and let me bring it back to what I was talking about, because now we got off on this tangent. Okay, bring it back. I know you hate Shane.
You brought me back to a Shane story. Yes,
I know you hate Shane. I know you want to punch his kids. I know you just don't like him. You give him the
props, man.
You give him the Care Bear stare. I understand that. Okay, let's just bring it back. Okay, let's bring it back. Okay, what I'm saying in regards to the reason why I didn't like the Undertaker Reigns thing is mainly because it was done on the fly, and it was done in regards to a way that it just wasn't there. Like, the only thing I appreciated, it was sad. It was sad because the Undertaker was retiring. That was sad, okay? But if I look at the angle that was set up, and they've done the retirement angle before, it was perfectly done in regards to how Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels was. How that was a story. That was actually built in the story.
Apparently class is over.
Yeah, apparently. Okay, you can hear my TV. So I'm watching Oz, whatever. Okay.
I immediately thought the theme from Saved by the Bell was about to start. So.
Well, black people don't watch Saved by the Bell.
It's all right, 'cause I'm a Saved by the Bell. And we're gonna get sued.
I hate you so much. Okay. So we both differ in regards to the actual thing. My whole thing in regards to if they were going that angle, in regards to the retirement angle, and they could see it coming. It's not the fact that, Undertaker can't do this that week. No, they knew about it 2 weeks before in the ring. They saw it with their own eyes. They knew he couldn't do this. At that point, I would have called the audible and switched it, because there's the story they had built up in regards from Royal Rumble to that point, WrestleMania, it was Undertaker's yard. Roman Reigns is there to take over. Okay, it wasn't in regards to Roman Reigns to take over and he's going to retire you. This is it, done.
I thought that was implied, but okay.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Where was it implied at?
That it was going to be Roman Reigns' yard now.
No, he just said it was
implied that it is no longer the Undertaker's yard, so he is going to be gone.
Where was it say he was gone at?
If it's no longer his yard, then he would not be there.
He never said. This is the whole thing. Like, because at that point, if what you were saying would have been excellent if Roman Reigns was a heel. He never said. He never implied that. He just said it's his yard now. That doesn't mean Undertaker's going away. Doesn't mean anything. What does that mean?
It means to me that I'm going to put you away. That
Where?
This is no longer your company. It's my company now. This is my yard. It's all implied. You don't have to say everything.
I'm not saying. But first and foremost, if you're a heel or a face, you would have said that. If he was a heel, it would have been perfect. Fine, I would have understood that. He didn't say any of that. He's not a heel. Like, this is why I was so aggravated with this whole storyline, because it wasn't. I'm gonna calm down. Continue, because I need to calm down.
Well, that's pretty much the show. That's the entirety of WrestleMania.
Okay. Well, here, I'm not gonna calm down now.
All right. Well, keep it up. Go ahead, AC Slater.
You son of a bitch.
Hey, at least you're not Mr. Belding.
First and foremost, you call a black person AC Slater.
I did.
You son of a bitch.
Hey, you were the assistant coach. You were the AC.
Don't put me on there.
AC Slater.
I'm
just giving you a gimmick last name now.
I will be Coachman. You goddamn right. You call me Coachman. You don't call me no goddamn AC Slater. Okay. First off, that is racism and reverse racism at the same time.
Right.
Yes, it's possible. It's possible to do that.
It's possible. Okay, cool. Well, I'll just call you Screech then. Is that cool? We'll call you Screech?
You motherfucker.
I remember Saved by the Bell. I am an awesome 80s kid. Anyway, we're gonna wrap this damn thing up because now we've gone well over an hour and a half. I apologize to everyone.
It's been around an hour?
Yeah, it's been over an hour and a half. Or, well, it might be around an hour and a half after I do some editing, but right around that. Shout out to Travis, who's apparently listening to us while he's playing Legend of Zelda. Don't fuck up, hit the A button. I don't know if that helps.
What?
I don't have a Switch. So.
That was a while ago, so I don't think he's listening to doing that right now.
He might be. You never know.
No.
You never know.
That was a couple podcasts ago, and I'm going to go ahead and say this, that
I think that was our last podcast, actually.
I'm going to get out my point. First and foremost, the storyline sucked, okay, in regards to Undertaker and Reigns. That's it. I said it. The match sucked. It was a 1 for me. 1.
Okay. Well, you got a 1. I got a 4. For the show overall, I'm going to give the show overall about 3 stars. I thought there were enough matches that were worth hunting down and watching. Taken in a vacuum, some of those matches are very good. Taken in a long story, the matches some of them are very good, some of them are so-so. But it is definitely a show that, while I've gone back and I've watched parts of it again, I would not sit through the whole thing again. Which is not something I could say about WrestleMania 17, WrestleMania 3, like WrestleMania 10. There are a lot of WrestleManias that I would go back and I'd watch the whole show again right now. You can sit me down in front of my television, I'll watch the whole show right now. WrestleMania 32, or 33, I'm sorry, not gonna happen.
I will say this.
Please stop yelling at River.
WrestleMania 33.
River, get down.
The best WrestleMania they've had since WrestleMania 21. That is no lie. From top of the card to the bottom, everything except for a couple were good to great to me. I would give it, if I had to rate it, overall it'd be a 4. Just from top to bottom, flat out best WrestleMania they have since 21. Was not expecting it to be this good. Like, that's the thing. No one expected WrestleMania to be this good. But in all seriousness, WWE brought it that weekend. Something they haven't done in a while for WrestleMania. So
yeah, it does feel like they actually paid off a lot of angles. They really they gave us a few surprises, the Hardy Boys especially. I of course thought that the main matches were booked expertly, and then there was really only one standout stinker for me, and that was Orton and Wyatt. So for me, it's a thumbs up. If you haven't seen the show, go watch it. If you're watching it on the WWE Network, obviously you can take what we've told you, and you can skip through some of these matches if you want to. There's some of them you really don't need to watch. But yeah, again, 3-star show sounds about right to me. You would obviously go a little higher, but I think that's where we're gonna end the discussion on WrestleMania. And next week we're gonna start doing this every Tuesday. We're gonna record every Tuesday. I don't know if it's gonna get posted every Tuesday because I still have to do a lot of editing, and then it takes forever to upload on YouTube. SoundCloud's so fast. YouTube takes forever. But we're going to start doing this every Tuesday, so hopefully every Wednesday you should have a new podcast. That does mean that we're going to miss SmackDown. We're not going to discuss SmackDown, so I have no idea what happened tonight. We recorded it literally during the show.
I can tell you what happened. Jinder is the number 1 contender. Don't mender the gender.
He's
the number 1 contender.
Number 1 contender?
Yes.
Fuck.
And you know the reason? Because they want to make that sweet, sweet babyface turn Orton. Babyface. Babyface.
Well, now that we know that SmackDown has Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton on its roster, and Jinder Mahal's the number 1 contender, we're going to go ahead and sign off now.
I don't want to sign off. I want to make Jinder songs. Let's go. Jinder, he's the number 1 contender. It's great what steroids will do for you kids. Hey, get your roids. What? No backup?
No,
okay.
I was going to let you go. I was going to say, they call me Jinder Mahal. This sure ain't Kids in the Hall.
Well, it could be.
Well, yeah, I guess it could be.
See?
We're gonna leave
cut
it
you
there.
off right there.
You did.
You
Did. You no-sold me. You stone cold no-sold me.
And I'm giving you the Care Bear stare.
Oh, way to call it back.
There you go.
All right. Well, with that, folks, we are going to send you on down the road. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that you stuck around for the whole show. I appreciate it if you did. Tell your friends, tell your family. Listen to the show. As long as they can handle F-bombs and nerds talking about wrestling. Listen to the show. Let us know what you think. And I think next week we're going to start having guests on, yeah?
Yes, because Dan wants to be in the group. And
I know Dan and Jeremy and Nick and Dino have all expressed interest. Cliff, I think, has expressed interest. So we've got a lot of people that want to be on the show. We're going to do them one at a time, I believe.
Wait, we don't have enough ass for Cliff to eat on this show.
That's true. That's true. We're gonna have to bring in extra truckloads of ass for Cliff to eat during the show.
First and foremost, that kind of sounds disgusting.
It does.
Okay, first and foremost, that just sounds gross.
It does.
Okay?
Well, Cliff is gross, so
I don't want to be that kind of guest.
His
host.
truck is bigger than his wife.
Well,
that is an
true.
Inside joke that only me and him will get.
No, I get it too because he told me.
Oh, he told you? Oh, son of a bitch! I'm gonna kill him.
I just want to say I don't want to be a host that has to bring over a truck full of ass. Like that's like it's like are we including legs and feet?
No, I think it's just the buttocks. Yeah.
That's really gross, and I don't want to be a part of that. So that's on y'all. I don't want to be a part of that show.
I will drive the truck full of butt, and I think that I'll get somebody to ride along with me.
Kevin Hart.
Maybe.
Sweet, because see how I segue that, right along Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it would work. It would work.
You'll get that in 20 minutes. You'll get
I got it.
No, I mean you'll get the full effect.
Oh,
no,
the full effect. It's like a delayed drug. All right,
yes,
cool.
It's a delayed hit.
Sure.
It's a delayed. Sure. It's a delayed, joke.
Sure. Moving on, we're heading out. Apparently we've got some exit music from one of my daughter's toys that's playing somewhere. You first and foremost what?
First and foremost, we're no longer going to use on this show apparently because you know what? That brings me down to negative town and we don't need to go there. Okay.
Apparently, Bryant does not like the word apparently. So
I just said not to use it, and you're just going to use it.
I know. I am a son of a bitch. I know. All right, folks, we're heading out. It's been we've been doing this way too long.
Getting the thumb poke of doom. Go ahead. Send us off.
I had to pause for 30 seconds because Avalon absolutely had to tell me something for that short amount of time. So, yeah.
Are we doing a send-off now, or is this where we say bye?
I was about to, and then you started talking.
Well, you took another breath, man. I didn't know what you were doing.
I don't know what's going on anymore. I am completely lost at everything. Good night, folks. And please remember, please, if you remember nothing else,